Hey, yo, shalom. All praises to the Most High. Yehovah, this is Sounds from YYBY. All right, so it's people who say that reason can be a very complex dog. And they right, it can. But hell, like any dog can be very complex. But the reason why they say reason can be very complex and they need certain features because of the rack. When you're dealing with the rack and the rack get very huge, and you rigging things up, and that stuff can get very confusing, and you'll be out of whack straight up if you don't really use certain features or take your time doing certain things, man. That's a fact, and that's more complex than any dog that's out. Yeah, so and then you got those who they don't use a lot of tracks. They probably use no more than 24 tracks based on if they're making the beat. Then you got those who dramatic. They got to have 100 tracks. You know what I'm saying? They got to go overboard and 100, 200 tracks and shit like that. So they be in a bag. They've got like 4 stacks of the drum, the kick, and 5 stacks of the snare. And yeah, some people really go in. Like they really go in. Do you need that? No, you don't. But it's levels to it. To make things be a certain way. So some of these features I'm about to go over, just to help give people an idea of what they can use and just bring them back to your mind and let you think like, okay, these are the things you can really do inside the dog that helps me, with my workflow where I don't have those complex problems when I'm inside of reason. And I'm gonna go over those right quick. So the first one is colors. Colors, man. Just color your tracks, man. That's it. Color your tracks from the beginning. Right? Simple thing. When you organize those tracks and you identify them and you separate them from everything else, it's easy to identify what's what. It's easy to identify what track is what. The same way, on the right here, it's easy to identify them the same way on the sequencer. Color your tracks. Even though we already do, they automatically color the tracks for you, but it's better to do it from the beginning. Start with it. I have a template where I, do those things and all that. All right, number 2 is, copy paste effects. I use this heavy, because, certain things you can't do simultaneously inside Reason. So if I'm selecting this and I'm turning this and I got this and I went up here and I changed this and, all that type of stuff, change the gate a little bit, blah, blah, blah. I could just right click, go to copy, and I can copy dynamics, filters and EQ, insert effects, FX sense, or I can just select all. So it's based on which one I want for that track to have. And insert effects is very important, So you select all, you click right here and you press paste, and to paste those effects, you select right here, press paste. Now I wish it had where you could select all these and right click and paste. That's the feature that they got to put in Reason. And I did a video about that previously about features that we demand, and people was mad because I put the word damn demand as if I'm talking to them. Like, it's crazy. People are just weird, man. I'm saying these features that we all should have in the dog that so we can enjoy the dog more and more, even though we still love it now. But it's nothing wrong with new features, man. If they're gonna come out with something new where you gotta pay again, put new features in it. That for the workflow. That's all. So paste FX options. Again, you got all those options. You could paste whatever you want to paste. Then you can select FSNs. So so whatever you got inside this, whatever plugin you got in here, if you drop a plugin in here, so now you could copy FSNs, right here. Boom. Go to this track and paste it. Did I do it right? No, I'm tripping. Go to copy, insert effects, paste right there. It's right there. So when you do these things, it helps you organize your tracks without confusing yourself as you go. Right. And the more I go down the line, the more it's going to, make sense with everything I'm doing. Okay. So the next one I want to talk about is using These two knobs right here are very important. The sequencer and the rack. You don't understand how important these knobs, just using these, are, especially when you get a complex track. So for example, if I click on this track and I just want to click rack, it's going to highlight that rack and go straight to it. So now I already know what I'm dealing with, and it's going to open it up. You know, if I want to tame this and scroll down here and change the volume of this and whatever I want to do to work on this track is already highlighted just like that when I select rack. You know, I close that. If I want to deal with the sequencer, I click that, highlight the sequencer. So I already see what track I'm dealing with. And this, you know, it opens it up so you can see what's running in concurrent with each other. You know, you select it, boom. And then you can go right here and you say, let me add a plugin to this track right here. Because you can't add a plugin to the, you know, on the mixer. So, you know, I just want to just double click the EQ. Now the EQ is going to open up in that track right here. So now if the mixer is closed and you want to go back to that mixer, you just press mixer, boom. So what it does, it helps you stay in tune with what you're working with back and forth. Now, if you're just going back and forth and you're trying to find that track scrolling up and down this part right here, then you might get lost. So I really take advantage of these, man. Some people do, some people don't, but I really do. That was a dope idea they put in there. Now, would it be better if when you turn it around, the rack around, and they would have the same mix, the mixer and the sequencer on back of the rack, where you can select the same button, these two buttons right here, back here. So say you're working back here, then you want to, you can still do like that, and but if you click it on this track, I think if you, let me see something right quick. Say I click this track. Where if I select that track, it'll highlight it. Now, if I touch right here, okay. So if I select this track, it will highlight it. But if I double click again, it won't do it again. Okay, that's weird. So if I select this track, it'll highlight that track. So I know what I'm dealing with. Okay, I know what I'm dealing with. Boom, I know what I'm dealing with. Open that up. And now I know what track I want to work on. I know what track running concurrent with the tracks on the mixer. Because one, I got them all colored. That make it easier. And then now I got the buttons that I can click on that helps identify what I'm using. All right, let's keep going. Another option, number 4, selecting sort. And, y'all know about this. So when you go right here and you right click and you press select sort selected device groups. So that means that when you moving things around in here, so you got vocal, yellow number 1. So you got the blue track down here, this blue track down here. Let's bring this up. And when you just move that around, when you go to the mixer, it's not like that. So what you do, you just right click, hold shift and select all those, right click, and then press sort, and then boom, they in order. So you keep these things in order as you go, you straight. And then even if you go to the rack, it's the same way. Even if you go to the rack, it's set up the same way now. Let me bring these. I did something. Let me bring this up right quick. That's send effects. Let me bring these down. Bring these down here. Bring on instruments. I did that. I was doing something too fast. Did I bring all the tracks down? Oh, I didn't. I was pressing that. So bring them down here to organize. Boom. So now, it's out of whack now. If I just go back, select this, sort it again. Now they're in the same position. The same position as right here. So that option is very important too, man, when you use that. All right, another option is bus, man. We know about that. Just use the bus. And what's so important about the bus is that, you know, if these tracks right here, you know, or whatever color they are, so you highlight them and you bus it. You know, sometimes people leave the color right here. You know, no, you know what I do? I get the color, I either color the same color, or most of the times what I do, I get the color and I go to like the next lighter shade of that color. Boom. So blue, you know, over the dark blue. If I get these and you know, and these are what, let's say yellow, route these, bus, you know, go to color and go to a different shade of yellow. You know, so now when you go to the mixer, you see that right here. It say bus 2, bus 1, and you name it and you straight. So as you go down the line, you seeing what's with what. You seeing what's with what. Right here, you don't have to worry about that. But on the rack, it's very important to see that stuff organized like that. Because the rack is the main part that get confusing with everybody. It's not really the sequence or the mixer. It's really the rack. And you got to keep this stuff organized as you go. You know, it's very important. So the bus tracks is very important using that. The next thing is color dividers that I got from, I got this from RE. I think it was free. So these I have different ones. I got one say audio tracks. In my template, I got one say instruments. So the instruments go down here. The audio tracks go onto this one. And then if you go right here, you see synth effects. And you can change the color to anything you want. You can change it whatever color you want. So that divides what is what. You know, that divides on the rack what is what. Also, before I got this remark, I was using this merger. Yeah, it's a merger, but I was actually using it for a divider. So I use that merger and name that send effect. And the reason why I did that because it's simple, it's plain. It got a big word say merger, and it's kind of like it helped me identify what's under that split. Because I'm putting things, you know, separate under it. You know, whatever is named, that's what goes under it. It's just that simple. And you can use a divider or you can use the remark. I mean, you can use the merger or you can use the remark. The mark you can change the colors in the remark. And, you know, as a matter of fact, I'm using another one that serves a different purpose, even though I use this in my mastering, but I was using the reference before I even got the merger or the remark. Before I knew about those, I was using this one as a split. You know, I was separating, you know, couldn't change the color of it, but, you know, separating this from audio, vocals and hooks and all that type of stuff and MIDI tracks and such. Yeah. So doing that will help you a lot. So on my template, I have that set already. All right, let's keep going. Another thing is, man, just take your time when you organize. Just take your time when you're creating. You can create fast, but just take your time. And a lot of the times, again, I have a template, so a lot of things already set before I even start working. So you got that template set up, you know, you straight, man. Number 8 idea is I use one column. Like right here, I don't use the second column, third column, fourth column. The reason why, because I like to see everything all the way down. Because when I turn it back, I don't want to see no wire over here. So for example, you know, that can kind of confuse you when a wire connected to this one, you know, then this one over here, a wire might be connected to another way. You know, you see all this shit, be like, okay, hold up. You got to scroll over here and look at that one and scroll all the way down and come all the way back up and then scroll over to this one and stuff like that. You know, yeah, again, you got this option right here where you can select this to go to that rack. That helps. But when it comes to the wiring part, that bothers me. But when I got everything going straight down, I can identify everything better. Because when I see my remarks, which is my dividers, and I see everything and the wires just going up and down. That's it. You know, just like how you see a single rack instead of having 4 or 5 racks next to each other. You got one single rack. You go behind it and you're rigging everything up, and it's boom, 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 boom. Easy. You don't got to go way over here and plug something in. So, but that's a personal thing, because some people they actually like the the other views, the other columns and everything, too much. I don't care about the columns and nothing like that. So another option is name your stuff properly. Just name everything properly, man. Vocal 1, vocal 2, vocal 3, ad lib 1, ad lib 2, ad lib 3, or name it the track by the artist. If it's Lil Ben lead vocals, Lil Ben overdub, Lil Ben. So when you organize your stuff and you color everything and then you order everything, it's easy to identify everything. How can it get very complex with you when you organizing things as you go? And these are basic things that have been in Reason for a minute. But sometimes we need reminders to know what we have already that we just not taking advantage of, or we forgot, or we just been spoiled. I don't know. Even though I do agree, it still needs some other features, man. Come on now. It's like some simultaneously features where you select a bunch of things at one time and do a certain thing. Like for example, like if I select all these tracks right here, boom, I can change this together. So I could do it on the mixer, but I can't do it right here. That sucks, But anyway, one of the most things that people have a problem with, cable clutter. They got the options in here. You go to preference. You got 3 different selections. Show cables for selected devices, hide auto route cables, and hide all cables. See how I got it set up where if I select this cable, they all shade and fade out. So now I can see all the other knobs I can just go to where I need to plug into. Stick it back in, they all back. So that's easy to see where this wire going to. Like you see, it's easy. It turned to gray. Now I can see where this going to and where I need to send it back to. So those options is different. You got one where it removes all the cables and just each circle, each one had like a little blue or green circle or something like that. But I can't change it right now because I think if I change it, I have to close the door and open it back up. I don't feel like doing all that. So that's a feature. If you use that heavy, how can this stuff get cluttered to you? How can it look annoying? How can it bother you if you based on what feature you want to, option you want to set it to? In the preference right here. Cable clutter. If you want to save some CPU, turn the cable animation off. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep going. Also the option called select auto group device. What that is that I think it's already set up automatically, but what that does is like, say you have an instrument and on that instrument you add this effect to it. So when you move that instrument, that effect will move with it. Basically, if you move this right here, if you grab this and move it anywhere on the column or up and down, that stuff stay together. It goes with it, so it keep everything together. But me, what I like to do really, like, even though you see this right here, you see this track, the mix track, and then you got the instrument on it, then you got the echo right here. What I like to do, I like to just open this up, grab these two, and I can just drop it in there. Now it's more organized, and I can just close it if I ain't using it. All my plugins and effects is inside of that. It's kind of like a combinator in a way. Out of sight, out of mind. You're not using it, move it out the way. Everything closed. What I want to use, I open it up. Close that back. Open this up. And also when you got a whole bunch of plugins inside of this mix channel, if they all close like this, you can actually just hold Alt and open them all up at the same time. And you can click right here again, hold Alt, close them all at the same time. So that's just 2 features that I just showed you right here from 11 and 12. Like select auto group devices. Then also, like, for example, like, let's say you turn around, you got this delay, right? And you like, what? I want this delay to be right here. We got the option where it say copy, right click, copy, FX, what it's called? Copy FX sends. See, but that's only going to copy all the sends. I'm sorry. When you go to copy FX inserts, when you do copy inserts, it's going to copy everything that's inside of that track, that mix channel. So you might not want that. So you might like, you know what, I just want this delay on bus, you know, on this audio track right here. So what you can do, you can just hold shift and drag it up right here, and it'll reconnect that. You know, it'll reconnect that. So now, well, I'm sorry. If you just want to move this and bring it up here, it'll reconnect that. Now, if you want to make a copy of this, you hold shift and control and you drag it up here. Now you got that same tweet reconnected automatically, and you just got a copy of it. It's just that simple, you know, as you see right here. So again, people, that's simple little features that we can use so we don't have to go through all that, man. You just got to take advantage of it. That's it. So if y'all know anything, other ideas that I missed on, put me on game. Jot it down at the bottom of the box, man. Hit me up. This is YYBY. Peace.